Well, the hit Broadway musical Million Dollar Quartet is showing at the McCallum Theater tomorrow.
Legendary drummer of Johnny Cash, W.S. Fluke Holland, is touring with the musical production crew and joins us live right now. Welcome. What an honor to have you here.
What an honor to be here. Even this early, it's still a great honor.
I know, it is early. Well, first tell us about how you spent 40 years with Johnny Cash.
The 40 years with Johnny Cash started in 1960. But a few years before that, I started on Sun Records with Carl Perkins, with Elvis and Carl, and then in '55, here come the rest of the Sun group, Johnny Cash, Roy Orbison, Jerry Lee Lewis, just a whole slew of, and we all toured together. And then I was going to retire.
There you are, right? That's
yeah.
You. Okay, when was that taken?
Oh, a couple of years ago.
Okay, rocking out.
That might have been at, I don't know, at New York or Chicago or somewhere.
Now, I want to ask you.
We're all over the country doing this now.
I want to ask you because I'm a huge Elvis fan. I also love Johnny Cash and all the greats, and you worked with the greats. So what was that like for you?
You know, at the time it was happening, we didn't think a lot about it. Or we didn't realize anybody was going to be real big stars. Like the Million Dollar Quartet thing. Carl Perkins, his two brothers and me, was back in Memphis to record the song after Blue Suede Shoes. Now, all during '55, we all worked together, and we'd all met everybody on Sun, Elvis and all the guys. And John and Elvis heard we were in town, and they just dropped by to say hello. Then it turned into a jam session. But that night, nobody thought a lot about it. Sam Phillips did call a photographer to make the famous picture. And I kidded Sam later, after it became history, and it was one of the most important sessions in the whole world, I think. Now, I said, Sam, man, if you'd really been smart, you'd have had to, boy, to pan over about 3 foot, I would have been in, and it would have been famous.
That would have been famous. But Sam Phillips discovered you, too, the way he discovered Elvis, right? So Sam Phillips, of course, the founder of Sun Records, really was the reason you're here today and such a legend as well.
Yeah, sure. And then later in 1960, John Cash called me. He didn't have a drummer in the group. Very many bands had drummers back then. No drums was on the Grand Ole Opry. So I went with him for a 2-week period, and those 2 weeks lasted almost 40 years.
Wow. All right, quickly tell us about what's happening tonight, the Million Dollar Quartet, or is it tomorrow?
Tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night, that's right. The information's on your screen if you'd like to check it out.
Later, when it became, all the boys became big stars, a fellow named John Cassette decided to do a Broadway play of it. So they hired the guys, like Elvis and like John and Jerry Lee and Carl, and it's an unreal Broadway play. Are y'all going to it?
I'm thinking about it now after talking to you. This sounds like a great show.
It's amazing. These guys are so much, I kid the guys. There's a part in the show where it's amazing to see the guys do it, and I tell them, I said, well, I wish John and Elvis and Jerry Lee and Carl could have been good as you guys. I could have been better.
Well, we appreciate you being here. Thank you so much for brightening our morning.
What an honor to speak to a legend. Thank you so much for joining us.
Well, it's my honor to be here, and I feel like I'm the luckiest guy in the world to now, all the years in the music business and still playing, celebrating next year my 60th year, and to be working with a company like KMIR, KMIR-USA.com. And I like to tell all the people, I had a great time traveling around the world with Johnny Cash, and now I'm having a great time traveling around the world with KMIR, telling you guys, if you don't have a KMIR kitchen, it's not as pretty as it can be.
All right, we'll be right back.
Thanks for joining us. Stay with us.